Most people expect a galactic invasion to start with lasers and fire, but in 1961, the greatest mystery in the Northwoods started with a stack of breakfast food. On a quiet morning in Eagle River, Wisconsin, a man named Joe Simonton was about to have a close encounter that would leave the United States Air Force baffled and a small town questioning the very fabric of reality. This wasn't a story of abductions or biological testing. It was a story about cosmic hospitality and a handful of greasy, tasteless pancakes. On April 18th of 1961, Joe is a 60-year-old plumber and poultry farmer. He heard a sound that was described as knobby tires on wet pavement. Looking out of his window, he saw a silver disc-shaped craft hovering just above his yard. It was roughly 30 feet in diameter and 12 feet high. As Joe approached, a hatch opened. Instead of green monsters or gray humanoids, he saw three men. They were very short, roughly 5 feet tall, with dark hair and skin that Joe described as Italian-looking. They wore tight-fitting black two-piece suits and moved with a synchronized mechanical precision. One of the beings held up a silver jug with two handles, gesturing that they needed water. Being a neighborly Wisconsinite, Joe took the jug, filled it from his pump, and returned it. That's when he noticed one of the beings inside the craft was standing over a flameless, grill-like device, busy preparing food. The leader of the group reached over, picked up 4 small perforated discs, and handed them to Joe. Without a single word spoken, the hatch closed, the ship rose about 20 feet into the air, and it vanished into the south at impossible speeds. Joe was left standing in his driveway with the strangest evidence in the history of the phenomenon: 4 hot, greasy pancakes. The investigation that followed was anything but ordinary. Joe, known by his neighbors as a sincere and honest man, didn't hide the event. He even ate one of the pancakes, describing the taste as light cardboard. The remaining samples were eventually turned over to the United States Air Force as a part of Project Blue Book. J. Allen Hynek, the legendary astronomer and lead consultant for the government's UFO studies, personally looked into this case. The laboratory analysis was a real shocker. The space flapjacks were found to be composed of hydrogenated fat, starch, buckwheat, and wheat bran. They were entirely terrestrial in composition, lacking one key ingredient found in most human recipes: salt. The Air Force officially labeled the case as unexplained, though they later suggested Joe may have experienced a very vivid hallucination. Yet Joe Simonton never changed his story. He didn't want fame, and he certainly didn't want the ridicule that followed. Joe lived out his days wondering why, of all the places in the universe, 3 beings chose his farm just to ask for a drink and share a meal. So if Joe's story is true, it suggests that the visitors might not be looking for conquest, but just perhaps a little bit of local flavor. What do you think? Was this a genuine encounter with a different kind of traveler? Or is there a simpler explanation to the Eagle River pancakes? Let me know your theories in the comments, and hit that like button. Follow me for more journeys into the strange and unexplained. Until next time.